Hi, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. A special thank you to my patrons, Wild Rose, Lauren Chris, That British Unicorn, Jam Beans, Debbie Elliott, and D. Higgins. Welcome to another video. This is Amber Alert, but it's like recap style Amber Alert. So, the point of this video is that we are going to be looking at Amber's entire year, basically in a nutshell. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. So if there's any new people who have just come into the community and just kind of want to get a quick sort of catch-up video, this would be the one to watch. It's also good for people who want a refresher on what happened basically this year. It's felt like so long. It's been such a long year. I'm going to leave her most recent stuff basically right till the end of the video. Amber actually started this year off with a bang. She had gone on a weight loss journey and it was successful. She had basically quit Vlogmas, if I remember correctly, the year before at about day 22-ish, give or take. And she'd gone basically completely silent. And when she came back, she was also a little bit tiptoeing around the issue of her weight. And then towards the end of January, she dropped a video and it was a premiere. And she talked about losing weight. And she'd done it. She'd lost 50 pounds off camera. Now, there was some speculation back and forth in the community about how she had lost the weight. If you guys weren't aware of this, she'd actually been sick for a pretty long period of time. She'd been getting UTIs consistently, one right after the other. And unfortunately, it was a precursor of worse things to come. We'll get to that. She had lost weight, and people were concerned that this might have been because of her illness. We don't know, but I would assume that even if it had been kickstarted by her just illnesses, I think that she still had done a lot on her part to try and keep that momentum going. Getting a little bit of push from being sick into actual weight loss is a great thing. I don't think that she's carrying 50 pounds of fluids. I mean, she is carrying 50 pounds of fluid. Everybody's carrying a lot of fluid, but she's not carrying 50 pounds of additional fluid. She probably did actually lose real weight, and she keeps that momentum going. So that speaks well of her. That's fantastic. I would also just like to point out that the video that she put up, she actually had like a really good ratio. She would had, I think it was like 11K likes to like only about like 4 or 5K dislikes. Still pretty bad for I think most people, but for Amber, who consistently is ratioed and pretty badly, I would say, this was great. Unfortunately, Amber is particularly skilled at essentially ruining a good thing. She had everybody on her side at this point. She'd been doing good. She lost the weight. She had to keep this momentum going. She had to keep this energy going, and I don't think she really did. She went back to mukbangs. These mukbangs were better than the kinds that she'd done before. For one thing, they were significantly more balanced. There were vegetables, there were fresh elements to her meals. They all seemed relatively low calorie. We found out a little bit later that these were meals that were prepared by a meal delivery company called Freshly. I think that's great. I think if you're not the kind of person who enjoys cooking, having somebody deliver your meals to you, especially given the resources that Amber has at her disposal, nothing wrong with that. Good on her. She's using her money for something good. I still think she should learn how to cook because those sorts of services can be expensive. And if you're trying to save money, it's not exactly the most economical option. So I would say learn how to make some of your favorite meals from there and then meal prep those and keep those in the freezer ready for you to go. But you know, c'est la vie, whatever. She got the meal options. She was doing okay. Despite the fact that she was mukbanging, she continued to lose weight, which is great. I mean, I don't think she should have gone to mukbanging, but I mean, what do I know? I don't do mukbangs. Around the April timeframe, though, we notice another trend emerging. She's going back to kind of her trolling ways. Now, this isn't as hardcore trolling as she was before, but it's significantly more trolling that she had been doing for a little while, right? She'd had a little bit more vloggy stuff, health stuff, just her day in the life stuff, and honestly, her just weight stuff. But she hadn't really had those like clickbaity, trolly thumbnails. Now, if you guys have seen any of my thumbnails, you know I don't have a problem with trolling. In and of itself, there's nothing really wrong with it. You just have to understand the nature of what trolling will get you. For example, Trisha Paytas is a world-class troll. I've said this before. She is quite skilled at it, quite frankly. Unfortunately, she gets a lot of hate, right? Well, not unfortunately. She does bring it on herself, but she gets a lot of hate. Trisha has a very thick skin though. She can take a lot of the hate that people throw at her, and she's very, very good at converting that outrage into money. If you are going to troll, you need to have that same kind of thick skin. And I don't know if Amber necessarily does. She definitely does have it more compared to, say, Chantal. But she still doesn't have it to the degree where it won't give her negative emotional outputs. And that's why I think it's a bad move on her part. Not that it's a bad move necessarily for everyone, but for her, it's not a great thing. It brings her the kind of attention that draws in the views, but it also negatively impacts her mental health. I'm not sure why she did it. I don't know why she went back to trolling, because I looked through her views, and while they weren't the highest her channel's ever gotten, they by no means were they like the lowest. So she was doing pretty okay. There is some speculation now, I think after the fact, after knowing what comes, that she might have needed the money given how often she was going to the doctors. And Amber has said multiple times that she does not have insurance, which is, honestly, that's problematic. I really think that insurance is one of those things that Amber should invest in, especially given the number of health concerns that she has. But, you know, c'est la vie. I don't know the truth of the matter. It would make sense to me, but given what Amber has said about her saving habits, I would think she would be fine if what she was saying was true. In May, we got the unfortunate confirmation, I guess, that something was seriously wrong with her. Like I said before, she'd been having UTIs for a little bit. She'd been sick. She was just, I don't know, she was just not feeling the greatest, right? Her health was kind of going up and down. And it came as a shock to her, I'm sure, but also as a shock to the rest of the community, to the Hater Nation even. It is very hard for me to think about Amber being sick, mostly because despite of her extreme weight, she's always skated by. Right? Nothing has really ever stuck to her. She's mentioned having other conditions in passing before. She's mentioned having sleep apnea. But even that, she sort of just dismissed it out of hand, saying, oh, you know, it's fine. And she's never really done anything about it. And she doesn't seem to be suffering from any consequences of it. We've seen no real evidence of that on her channel. So when she confirmed that she had cancer in a truly heartbreaking video, I'd seen that video. It was actually really difficult to watch. It was a shock. And I think it shocked a lot of people in the Amberverse and beyond, quite frankly. A lot of people who had been talking about her, who'd been doing reactions, you know, they expressed their sympathy and they went silent. There is some contention as to why they'd gone silent. I know that there have been some people who've made the assertion that they went silent because, you know, they didn't want to look like the bad guys monetizing off of her illness. But a lot of these people, I genuinely believe, went silent because they know how much it bothers Amber and they wanted to give her as much breathing room as possible. In fact, quite a few people swore off doing reactions on Amber forever. I think On Program Situation was one of those people where she just stopped talking about Amber as a whole. The type of cancer that Amber had is endometrial cancer, basically like ovarian cancer. And she unfortunately needed a full hysterectomy to rectify the situation, which is awful. I can't say with any degree of certainty whether her weight impacted the course of treatment, but I can't help but feel that it was probably at least a consideration. Operating on somebody who is as heavy as she is always a risk. It increases chances of a host of different diseases, not the least of which being just secondary infections after the fact. So I can understand that her doctors would have only recommended this course of action for her if all of the other courses of action were not going to be effective. I don't know. I am not her doctor, and I'm not a doctor overall, but even if I was a doctor, I'm definitely not Amber's doctor, so I can't say. But it would make sense to me. And in mid-July, she had the hysterectomy. She'd gotten the surgery. I know it really sucked. She had mentioned that she wanted to have kids, and having that ability denied to her can be pretty sad. Even if you don't want kids, I think having the option taken away from you can be really, really hurtful. And once more, this was a video that I saw and it broke my heart for her because she's a young woman. She's not that far removed from my own age. And so watching her go through something like this was very upsetting. There's no other way to describe it. It was just super upsetting. I saw myself in her and I thought of the devastation I would feel if I was in that position. And I felt for her. I actually left her quite a few sweet messages on her videos, just encouraging stuff. Nothing that I'm sure, she hasn't heard before, and I'm sure it probably wasn't a huge amount of stuff in like the grand scheme of things. But from my personal account, I tried to leave her as well wishes. I tried to leave her as well-intentioned messages as I could, so that if she did happen to read them, that if there were trolls just being unkind to her, that maybe that could drown out some of the hate that she might get. Her videos were not ratioed. She actually had a pretty good like to dislike ratio on most of those videos. But if you still look at the totality of her output, she was still getting a significant amount of hate. Not everything is bad in this time frame, though. For one thing, she moves. She's been sharing a house with Eric and Ricky for quite a while. Eric and Ricky are a couple, and they'd lived with Amber along with their dog, and Eric Cook had a vlog of his own, something which he discontinued, I think, shortly after moving or shortly before moving. I think shortly before moving. And she and Becky decided to move out of their house, and they decided to move to an apartment in Lexington. Lexington is a significantly bigger city. It's a really nice apartment that she moves into with her girlfriend. And that's great. And her mom comes to visit to help her through the surgery and through the process and to help her heal. And she really spends a lot of time reconnecting with her mother. Both of those things are awesome. For one thing, I know that Amber has had a really hard childhood, and having just something good come of that can really make it a little bit more of a cathartic experience, can really make it a positive, as much as cancer can be positive than a negative, sort of like a silver lining. And moving in with your girlfriend is fantastic. Just you and her by yourselves, because it signifies you guys doing an adult thing together. That's great. You're moving on into adulthood, doing adult things with adult responsibilities. I love it. I'm really glad that her and Becky moved. The apartment is fantastic, but Lexington is a big city, and we soon start seeing the side effects of that. Now, around August, we start seeing a concentrated effort on her part to change the direction of her channel. Amber has mentioned on and off that she doesn't just want to be a weight loss channel, that she doesn't want to be associated with just weight loss, that she wants to make it a vlog style channel, just like a day in the lifestyle channel for her, and that she will be talking about weight loss as it pertains to her life, but that will not be the main focus of her channel. That said, she's never really been very consistent on it. Sometimes she'll do just weight loss content, sometimes she'll do just mukbang content, and sometimes it will be the vlog content that she seems to be aiming for. But around this time, we see a real push for it. She does a lot of just vlogs, day in the life sort of stuff, and, it's Amber's life. It's not very... I don't want to say interesting, because her overarching story is pretty compelling, but the day-to-day life that she has is maybe not the most gripping, and we do see a dip in her views around this time. Still, she carries on forward with just living her life, doing things, ignoring that COVID is happening, hanging out with people at a lake without a mask on, and holding other people's babies, as it were. She also starts displaying another worrying trend. I'd mentioned before that she'd moved to Lexington and that it presented its own challenges. One of the big things about Lexington, unlike where she lived before, which was in rural Kentucky, is that Lexington has food delivery available. She can Uber Eats anything her little heart desires. And we start seeing soon that she does. She orders in food a lot. We start seeing Cheesecake Factory boxes hanging out in the background, her doing taste tests as part of her vlog for basically any kind of cuisine around. And once more, inherently, those are not bad things. You can eat from any place that you desire. But when you have had issues with eating in the past and you're actively trying to eat better, and you're still consistently ordering out calorically dense, nutritionally void food on a very, very regular basis, because we were seeing vlogs from her basically twice, 2 to 3 times a week, and she was getting food multiple times in her vlogs. It gave the perception that she was no longer trying for her weight loss, even though up until this point, she'd lost almost 100 pounds. She'd been consistently losing weight, right? Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, and I think there was 1 month maybe in the middle where she gained a little bit, but she was still relatively on track, which is what you want to hear. So this came as distressing news to a lot of her viewers. And right around the time when this stuff started heating up, basically when people started pointing out that, hey, why are you getting so much food out again? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? They started questioning her. Amber disappeared. Then, in the start of October, when the world needed her most, Amber disappeared. 1 month later, we found a new Amber. And while her trolling skills were great, she still had much to learn about losing weight and keeping it off. I believe, though, that Amber needs to go to therapy. So, it's November, Amber's back. What is happening now? Well, she comes back with some surprising, yet not surprising news. Apparently, she started a brand new weight loss journey, that she'd been off track for a little bit, but now she's ready to get back on track, and she feels it in her gut that this time, the thing that she needs to do to lose weight and keep it off is Jenny Craig. I know, I'm thinking it too. Now, Jenny Craig is essentially the 6 seasons in a movie version of Optavia. Essentially, it is long, it is a little bit too drawn out, and quite frankly, no one actually needed it. It's impulsive. She signs it on impulse. She signed a 2-year contract on impulse. And this is, by the way, I haven't mentioned it up to now, but this is the 3rd weight loss thing that she's paying for on a monthly basis. We've got Weight Watchers, or WW. We've got Zoom, and now Jenny Craig. So she's essentially just burning money. She also ordered a bunch of Jenny Craig food. And she turned what was supposed to have been a 1-week trial period of her showing us every day what she was eating into essentially like 2 weeks worth of videos where she talks about the stuff that she eats. And in those 6 days, she doesn't even get to, by the way, all the 7 days. In the 6 days that she has, she binges, I think, 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure if I think it's 4 times. She binges 4 times. And what it impresses upon her is that she needs to go to therapy. Normally, it would be at this point where I would say, fantastic. If something can get her to go to see a therapist, I am all for it. Unfortunately, I don't know if she's going to stick to it. Amber has been to see therapists before in the past, and every time she does, she kind of flakes out. She will see them once, twice, and then she won't see them again. Medication is not going to fix the deeper emotional problems that you have. They can be great for things that are like hormonal imbalances. They can be great for depression. And any medication that her doctor is recommending, she should at least give serious consideration. But if you've got emotional problems, it's not going to address any of those. People are complex. Fixing brain chemistry, unfortunately, will not fix all of your problems. She needs a therapist. She really does. Keeping my fingers crossed, but honestly, I'm not hopeful. All this leads us to Vlogmas. She did Vlogmas. She started off pretty strong. She started vlogging, every single day. She was supposed to have gone till Christmas. She basically stopped 6 days before, which is kind of sad. I really think that it would have been good for her psychologically if she had managed to complete Vlogmas for herself, if for nobody else. She didn't. She says that she got sick and she unfortunately had to go to the hospital, and because of that, she missed a day. It's times like these that I really recommend that if you are a content creator, have a couple of ideas, just videos that you have filmed, pre-filmed, and keep in sort of your, just in case of emergency, break glass sort of situation. I have a few videos. Some of them are retro reacts, some of them are just article reviews, but whatever, I have them so that if there is ever an issue, I can just edit and upload those. Some of them I actually even have edited and ready to go. All I have to do is just drop them into YouTube so that I will have them there to go in case I promised a video and I could not get it out in time. Last thing that we really heard vis-a-vis Vlogmas was essentially her just answering like Q&A style questions and saying that she was done with Vlogmas for now, that people were giving her a lot of hate, and because of that hate, she decided to not continue doing Vlogmas, and that if this was a real job, then she wouldn't be required to work sick anyways. The problem with being your boss is that you are the one who has to set the priorities in your life. Once more, planning would have really helped with this. And I can understand if you're not feeling well that you don't want to necessarily do the whole damn thing. I get that, right? Her life generally tends to be, like I said before, not the most happening on a day-to-day basis anyway. And if she's not feeling well, she's probably going to end up doing even less. So I get that. But she didn't need to quit over this. She's essentially punishing the people who do support her, who do love her, for people who don't. She's rewarding the people who dislike her and punishing her loyal audience. It just seems so incredibly counterproductive. She also did something else that really upset me. The last Vlogmas video that she put up was essentially clickbaiting domestic violence. Now, there's not, like I said, a lot of things that I take issue with when it comes to clickbaiting, but domestic violence, assault, any kind of crime for the most part, those are things that you should not clickbait. It's gonna like lead you to hot water. You don't want to mess with that kind of thing. I can essentially clickbait anything like negative that I want, as long as it's not anything that has serious consequences for someone. I think a good measure is that if someone has died under tragic circumstances because of this issue, it's probably not appropriate to use as clickbait material. But then again, I'm not really shocked. Disappointed? Yes. Shocked? No, not really. Amber has said and done other problematic things like this before. If you guys remember, she has clickbaited suicide before. So, I mean, once more, sucks, but I'm not surprised. The very last video that she has posted, and if her Q&A is to be believed, the last video that she will post for 2020, was her reaction to Abby Sharp's video. Now, if you guys haven't seen my Abby Sharp video, I will leave a cue card up above. Cue card? Whatever, the additional index card thingies. I will leave them up above so you guys can check out my response to Abby Sharp. I don't think she really added anything, and there's really not much in there that I want to discuss. She agrees with a lot of Abby's points, and I, like I said, I agreed with a lot of Abby's points too. The thing I found very funny though was that she had mentioned that she, didn't know that, oh, that's what you should be doing. But she's spoken to dietitians before. She's consulted doctors before, and the way that she acts in her response to Abby Sharp makes it look like no other medical professional has ever given her this advice, which we know is false from her own videos in the past. I just found that very odd. I did not like the fact that she's coming on video and acting brand spanking new. And that's pretty much it. That's Amber's entire year in a nutshell. Now, my thoughts and my hopes and predictions moving forward. I don't know. This year feels like a wash almost for everybody involved, really. COVID has taken the joy out of pretty much everything in life recently. And the fact that she's had such a hard year with illness makes it very difficult for me to not feel sympathetic towards her. I really do feel a lot of sympathy for her. I really want the best for her. That said, I really, really want her to want the best for herself as well. I think people think that I want her to lose weight and become like 115-pound supermodel. Like, I don't want that. If she can just get down to 200 pounds, she'll still be obese at that weight, but she would live a happier, healthier life. And if she continues to have medical problems going forward, which there's a very, very high likelihood that she will, given how long she's been obese, just being at a smaller weight will make it easier for doctors to treat you, make it easier for doctors to diagnose you, make it easier for medication to affect you. It will be so much better for you. I'm not asking anybody who is obese to lose weight and become aesthetically pleasing to me. I said it before in a video and I'll say it again. If she loses weight right now, she's much more likely to look like a melted candle. But it would be better for her health. That's what I want her to do. I want her to prioritize her health and just get to a better weight. And to do that, she needs a medical team. Now, Amber is in a very fortunate position. She has a lot of wealth at her disposal and she can use that to better her current circumstances. What I would prioritize is, first, I would get Freshly again. I would get the Freshly meals. It would take some of the pressure off of her. She would also be able to order meals that she enjoys. She and Becky can both eat them, both do it together. I think having that spousal support will make it a lot easier for her to stick to these goals. I also think, like I said before, team therapy. Go see a therapist. See a therapist, see them twice a week if you can afford it. Go talk to a therapist. Do the mental work required. I really, really, really think that will make a huge difference for her. Another person I think she should go see is a physical therapist, not a, psychiatric therapist. I think that they can help guide Amber in the direction in which she needs to go vis-a-vis her physical health. What exercise she should do, how she should do them, how long she should do them, the reps at which she should do them. Generally just help her become a healthier, more well-rounded person. And I think that having a physical therapist there, especially one who specializes in obesity, can make a huge difference in doing it safely. Because when you are 500 pounds, unfortunately, it's very, very easy for you to injure yourself. And if you become immobile due to an injury, it can be devastating, absolutely devastating. So see a therapist, see a physical therapist, get your health in order, and I think you'll do great going forward. Predictions though, I don't know if Amber will. I hope she does. I really, really do hope that she does. And I think that this moment with her mom, I think, has provided her with some amount of closure, and I think that will help her. I think that the cancer and potentially, you know, unfortunately relapsing, that might provide her with some momentum to move forward and address her emotional problems. I think those things might help, but I don't know if they will. And the recidivism rates for people who have been morbidly obese are unfortunately very, very high, right? People gain the weight back. So I don't know. I want to hope, but I don't know if I am hopeful. Anyway, that will be the whole video from me. I hope you like this. I hope I wasn't moving too much. If you guys can't tell, I am actually standing. Yay, standing. I thought that would be better. I always find, like, when I'm sitting, I feel like I'm a little bit more low energy, but also I move a lot just generally. I have like a lot of nervous energy, and I thought this would be better. Also, I feel like you guys get to see more of my beautiful background this way. Let me know if this was better, or if my like just jitteriness was kind of rubbing off on you and making you feel anxious, because that happens with me sometimes when other people are jittery. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys like this format. Let me know if you guys like the setup. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, you can give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Leave a comment down below if there's something you'd like me to really, really know. Leave me your predictions for what you think 2021 will bring for Amber and for Becky. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below. And, you know, hit all if you want to know when I upload any video. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, where I put up all my life stuff and my food stuff. But, I mean, I don't really have a life right now. And until I get the vaccine, I will have no life. So it's just food. But I'm a pretty good cook. So, hey, there's that content. I've got Twitter, where I'm a little bit toxic and a little bit petty. But I'm also pretty entertaining on there. And it's the easiest place to interact with me. I also tend to put up all my like channel updates on there, more so than I do it even here on the community tab. So if you guys are interested in that, that's where you can find that content. And I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you would like me to continue, hey, consider becoming a patron and tossing a few coins in my direction. If it helps, think of me as dressed up in a jester costume and you're whipping coins at lightning speed towards me as hard as you possibly can. If that helps, I'd be okay with that. I mean, you could mail me coins, but that would be weird and also heavy. And if you're not feeling Patreon, you know what? You could maybe join the community down below and consider becoming a community member. I still haven't put in the community name thing. I'm gonna never do it now. It's just gonna be the unnamed community forever, I think. No, I promised I will. I will. I keep forgetting to do it, and I remember at the end of the video, and then it's a whole thing. Anyway, you guys will have it. Join the community. Help me become more decisive. Throw a few coins in my direction, and help me continue doing this. You know, growing my channel, becoming better at what I'm doing. I appreciate it. All of your help, I appreciate it. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. I stole these from my best friend. They were her engagement earrings. And I did her makeup for her engagement. And then I told her that I'm taking her earrings as payment. She's very sweet. She let me take them. She's very, very kind. I love these earrings so much. Have not been able to wear them the whole year because I don't have anywhere to wear them. But God, look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? Are you guys curious about my shirt? Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah. Unless, if it's backwards and you guys can't see it, it says, there's some hoes in this house, because get it? Because it's hoes.